All right, we had a really bad connection. Let's see if we can't start this over. Um, all right, let's see what we got here. All right,
How we doing now? Better connection?
I think a better connection. Let's see. Let's see what happens.
Okay, sounds good.
So I want to go back to something you said, which is if you're a racist CEO and you have to turn your volume down a little bit. I think I'm hearing some feedback. If you're a racist CEO and you're appearing like this in public, what does it say about your company? And frankly speaking, nobody cares if the whole company is like that or not. The fact that this is your leader makes you not want to do business with these companies, right?
For sure. Agreed. I think that it goes right, like I was saying, it flows right down from the top all the way to the bottom employee.
And to go back to my point about appearing in public drunk as a CEO, listen, as it is, we're in a pandemic. I think it already says something about your judgment if you're out having a drink. I mean, that's just me. I mean, we're in Arizona, so our vibe is a little different. We're literally in the hotbed of COVID-19. I look at anybody who's trying to socialize and have a good time at a bar with a dim view. I'm sorry to say, but I'm going to say it. But the reality is that as to the question of whether it's right or proper, part of me, and I do this in my practice all the time, right? When I consult with people who have been defamed or maybe want to vet something, I say, look, is this something that is a public concern?
Right.
Like, is this something that should be disconcerting to members of the public or of the business community, number one? And number two, is it truthful? Is it honest? The last thing you want to do is say something that's false.
Right.
But when you have video or pictures of somebody behaving in a certain way, and they are leaders of a company or in a company, I don't see any reason why that shouldn't be told publicly, right? You follow me on that?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I mean, that's the beauty of technology these days. If there's a video, I mean, does the video not speak the truth? You're not putting your own opinion or perspective on it. You're just showing the video. It's clearly showing you what the person is saying and what they're doing. Same with the picture.
Yeah.
And I mean, what's the saying? A picture speaks 1,000 words. Let the picture do the talking.
The sad part about this is I don't know in the case of the Fresno, if anyone who's watching and listening knows, I don't know in the case of the Fresno CEO, if he came out and gave a public apology on video after seeing that 10-minute disgusting, brazen, racist crap that he was spewing. But I certainly would, right? I would go back, I would eat some crow, get on tape, and say, listen, this is not who I am. I apologize for what I said. I'm not a racist. So the fact that he might be under a shell somewhere, again, if he is, and I don't know if he's published a public apology or not, the fact that he hasn't makes me believe that he doesn't care that people think he's a racist. He just cares that this thing went viral.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, and that's the unfortunate thing is that, sometimes you just gotta, okay, you make a mistake, we get it, own up to it. Own up to it, issue a public apology, and just hope to God you don't lose your clients.
And I should stand corrected. He did say, he told a reporter, and again, I don't know if this was on video, he told a reporter, my words were unacceptable. I'm both embarrassed and saddened that I demonstrated this behavior. They were the result of being physically impaired, frustrated, and stupid. They're not representative of my personal beliefs or those of the company.
I mean, look, man. Frustration. Look, when I'm frustrated, I might say some things, but I don't know about you. I don't know about you, okay? But I don't go spewing and calling people sand N-words and, spewing out some racist rant. Because that's just, that's not who I am. But if that's how you're brought up and that's who you are as a person, maybe that, and you're saying it, maybe that is who you are.
What's funny is Actionable Insights. So there's two companies by the name Actionable Insights.
Yeah.
And one of the companies, did you see this?
I did.
One of them was
I saw that.
One of them was like, this dude has nothing to do with us, and that's a smart play. Like, you should dissociate immediately. Make sure you tell on your social and even on your website that you have nothing to do with these people. But secondly, I saw that the company itself said that, look, this guy's resigning effective immediately. And it's specifically because of this issue, right? That to me is some hope that this company, his partners or the board, doesn't espouse the same views.
Right.
But I gotta ask, how often does this stuff happen and go unchecked?
I think it happens all the time.
I think it happens all the time
so
too.
So much, and that's the beauty of social media, is that a lay person, anybody, now has the power to expose companies when they do wrong. That's the beauty of it. It keeps people in check.
I'll say something else. On the flip side, if a disgruntled employee comes out and says, how can I get this company? They can certainly use it as a weapon against the company improperly, right? And that's where mostly the kind of stuff that I do, where somebody's like, look, this is not true. Somebody, an employee, ex-employee, maybe filed even a false or fictitious police report just so they could go back and tell the news, oh, I filed a police report. So what if you filed a police report? As you know, in the defense work, filing a police report isn't proof that something happened other than the filing of a police report.
No, all it is your statements to the cops.
Right. But the problem is when people hear like, oh, somebody filed a police report. Oh, is that true? That's true. People automatically assume that something happened. Right. And so disgruntled employees or disgruntled business owners and partners, they can use that as a weapon. Right.
Agreed. It's the way my analogy is in the criminal defense world, at least, it's kind of like body cam. Body cam is a great thing because it works two ways. First off, it helps. It helps the state and the officers to prove any statements that were made, to prove any conduct that may have been shown on body cam. But at the same time, it keeps law enforcement in check.
Speaking of keeping, let me see if I can pin this here.
So that's my analogy to body cam is kind of like my analogy to social media. Social media helps us keep companies in check when they, when there's some wrongdoing on their behalf or on their employees' behalf or on, some high-level CEOs that does that.
Right, and it's proof that something happened. It's before I missed this. Did you see there was a video just circulated about this Virginia police officer who, when an African-American man was being arrested, he had his camera, like the selfie style on, and the officer, as he was arresting him, basically went bonkers on him. During the recording. Yeah, apparently this just happened. Like the officer, I'm watching the video, the officer was trying to unlock the door of the passenger to get the guy out. So the dude threw his phone on, and the cop goes unhinged and completely loses it. If somebody's listening to this and they have the link, feel free to drop it in the comment. We'll post the link when this video gets posted. But I'm looking at what this officer's saying, and he's literally like, "I'm going to give you one more chance before I give you an ass licking." And the guy's just like, when is that okay? He's got his hands up, he's got his seatbelt on because he was a passenger in it, he was a driver in a vehicle. Like, imagine if I don't know if in this jurisdiction they have body cams in Virginia, but like, here's the living proof of why body cams and outing these things is important.
Well, and that's the thing. The thing is that how many of these body cams are really outed too? So, for example, the latest one here in Phoenix. Have you seen that one with I forgot the young lady's name. She was essentially manhandled by a cop, Phoenix police, Officer McGillis. My buddy, actually, James Palestini, he broke that to the Guardian, and he happened to get that body cam because he was the assigned criminal defense attorney. So he does some public defense work, and he got assigned the case. And, you know, as he's going through discovery, he finds this body cam, and he's just in shock. And he's seeing this 100-pound girl get manhandled by this cop. And he was able to expose it and to show, you know, like, there's an issue here. So, yeah. Some of this stuff goes unchecked, unfortunately.
You know, Phoenix especially, we have this problem. And there's a link, Ray 77. Thank you, Rachel, for posting that. You know, we have this issue with body cams not being used or turned off or go missing, or even worse, like in this video that, you know, was posted there. I know we can't click on the link, but we'll include it in the video when we post it. Literally, the African-American arrestee is saying, "My life is in danger." And what you see is the officer throws his arm around the passenger and puts him in a chokehold while he's sitting in his car and yanks him out. Like, why is that necessary? He's not a threat. He's not holding a weapon. You know, I don't care what the circumstances are. You know, again, and this is the ignorance of the police department. Like, why is this officer still working there? Like, this guy, I don't know if he is now after this came out, but where's the training involved, right? Like, this guy's not a threat.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and that's the problem. Unfortunately, you know, I mean, now with everything that happened, you know, with everything that occurred with George Floyd, we're starting to see that so many of these officers who are you know, having these issues of misconduct, unfortunately, have had histories, have had complaints that either were investigated and just, you know, put to the side, or they were investigated and deemed to have been found, you know, unfounded. It's insane. I mean, I just read this article today. The DPS officer who shot and killed, I believe, Deion Johnson. There were 2 instances of misconduct on him. I think one of them involving his taser.
I mean, and this is why I gotta love social media, because all it takes is one domino. And again, premising this on truth and what's on video obviously can be interpreted different ways. I mean, we've had situations like that. And as a defamation lawyer, I'll tell you, sometimes you see 2 different things, but you cannot mistake getting manhandled. Yeah. And particularly when an encounter is entirely on video. And the aftermath, where the PD is taking the position as the person off, you know, followed protocol. But you cannot refute a historical, you know, proof of this person having a series of misconduct with other people. Did you see this was also broken in social media recently with the Redskins? As you know, the Redskins are changing their name because of respect, and I applaud them. A professional team changing their name is a big deal.
Oh, for
because
sure.
You have to change all of your merchandise, then becomes legacy. But what I want to point out is several women, like 10 or 13 or more, came out and said, "Hey, we've been, you know, sexually harassed and assaulted, etc., as employees or interns at the Redskins." And we're talking high up in the food chain.
Huh,
Did you see this?
No, I haven't seen this one.
Yeah. And so, you know, the story broke. It was through one interview. And of course, this is another thing. People, there's a chilling effect. People don't want to talk about it because they're afraid. Maybe I'll get sued for defamation. Right. You know, or maybe they signed a confidentiality agreement as an employee. Like, I don't want this to get out. You know, maybe I'll get sued. And so all it takes is one person to start the, you know, first domino, and it encourages other people to talk about the facts and the truth. So, you know, this thing just broke, and this is going to probably cause an avalanche, but it goes really high up in the food chain of to ownership and management of the Redskins.
So, Reese, let me ask you this. I mean, look, you know, I bet you there's so many people out there who want to break something on social media. They want to tell the truth about something, expose a company, and they have a fear. They're afraid that they're going to get sued for defamation because, let's be honest, if you're just a little guy going up against a big company, that big company's got tons of lawyers on retainer, and they're going to come after you tooth and nail. What do they do? You know, do they expose them? Do they just let it go? What do they do?
So my personal opinion is you have to tread carefully. It is true. And oftentimes it helps if you actually seek legal counsel first. I mean, if you can talk to a competent lawyer, do a 20-minute, 30-minute consultation and say, look, this is what happened to me. This is truthful. This is my opinion. This is my experience, and I want to do X, Y, Z thing. That's the best thing you can do, number one. Number two, always speak truthfully, right? If the facts can be argued, if it's ambiguous, if it's a gray area, ignore that. If somebody mistreated you, you can always speak the truth with no problem, with one exception, and that is confidentiality, right? And then you get into questions of, well, did you breach confidentiality? And again, that's why you want to show that document to a lawyer. Right. But the wrong thing to do is to say on your own, if you're an individual, like if you're an employee of the Redskins, the wrong thing to do would be to say, you know what, I signed a document, so I must have signed my life away. I must have signed away any right to talk about this. Of course not. You have a legal right to sue for assault. I mean, because somebody can be criminally prosecuted for assault. Exactly. Particularly if it's sexual misconduct. So talk to somebody. It's easy to get caught up in the, well, I'm afraid. That's my advice. You know, do a little diligence, talk to people. For those of you who have other issues, I mean, I would say, look, just speak truthfully. Speak truthfully. Don't have an agenda. You know your intentions better than anyone else. Right. If the intent is to malign somebody, then it's probably something that you shouldn't do.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know, that's my high level advice. Look, I love social media as a tool to break stories, you know, to even expose companies. But you just have to be careful too. So the other side of the coin is just use care, speak truthfully, speak in the context in which things occurred, and talk to a lawyer, man.
Exactly. No, agreed, man. Agreed. Well, great advice on that. And you know, Reese, I got to take a few phone calls here and stuff. So it was always great talking to you, brother.
It's always good. We'll do this again.
Yeah, we will.
And I'm interested to see, you know, what happens with this Virginia video that just came out. Watch it and you tell me what you think, and maybe we'll do this again.
I'll let you know. All right, brother. Take it easy.
See you later.
Later. Bye.